much for calling me this debate, Mr Walker. It's a pleasure to speak under your chairmanship. I'd also like to commend my honourable friend, the member for Eddisbury, for securing this debate. Now, I understand a lot of the contributions this afternoon have focused around domestic energy efficiency, and I will touch on that. But I also want to broaden out the debate and talk about energy efficiency in the commercial and industrial market, which is crucial if we are to meet our emissions targets. Now, the Clean Growth Strategy was introduced by the Department for Bays last year, with the expressed intention to accelerate the pace of clean growth, allowing the UK to meet its greenhouse emissions targets, whilst ensuring we maintain strong economic growth, which has been a key success of this Conservative government over the last 8 years. It is therefore worth noting that the Clean Growth Strategy is not being introduced to address an issue, but to improve, accelerate and maximise an already successful set of government policies. Since 1990, the UK's GDP has increased by 67%, while emissions have gone down by 42%. By comparison, the G7 GDP has increased by 61%, but their emissions have only gone down by 3%. So this shows that the United Kingdom has led the way in growing our economy without jeopardising the environment. Or, to put it another way, protecting our environment does not need to undermine our economy. The argument that environmental protection is incompatible with a thriving economy also holds very little water. Our success in creating more jobs and reducing emissions shows that we don't need to have a choice between economic growth and environmental measures. The UK, therefore, is clearly right to seek to maximise the economic benefits of our transition towards a low-carbon economy. Now, one aspect that's particularly important for Scotland, and of course energy efficiency was devolved in 2016, but of course energy policy is still a reserved matter. It's the recognition of the importance of carbon capture storage and to decarbonise UK heat, industry and power, as has been mentioned by honourable members opposite. Now, for Scotland, carbon capture storage is a vital tool to reducing emissions, and the Minister should be commended for putting carbon capture storage firmly back on the agenda of the government. In the UK, we have a world-leading oil and gas and skills infrastructure, predominantly based in the north east of Scotland, which would potentially be perfectly suited to carbon capture storage. However, the opportunity to repurpose many of these assets before decommissioning is diminishing, and that's why putting the Clean Growth Strategy into action now is vital for the UK as a whole. The economic benefits of carbon capture storage to Scotland and the east coast of England combined have recently been estimated to bring more than £163 billion over the next 60 years, making the need to maximise the opportunity all the more imperative. It is therefore worth considering the Caledonia Clean Energy Project, which could be well placed to kickstart the UK carbon capture industry. The Caledonia Clean Energy Project would see the development of crucial low-carbon infrastructure in Scotland that would not only provide clean, reliable power for up to 1.3 million homes, but also enable the decarbonisation of Scotland's major industrial hub, Grangemouth. And if that wasn't enough, the project could also produce enough clean hydrogen every day to power around 500 hydrogen-fuelled buses. Mr Chairman, there surely isn't a strict definition of energy efficiency at the industrial level, but the sort of energy efficiency that doesn't just help the UK lower our emissions and meet emissions targets, but also puts the UK in the forefront of economic innovation in the energy market is surely a helpful one. It is clear that the UK, and Scotland specifically, has the exciting potential to be a major part of the Clean Growth Strategy. But if there's one criticism that can be levelled against the Clean Growth Strategy, is that it doesn't provide sufficiently clear policy signal that investors in carbon capture storage need to justify what could be multiple billions of pounds of inward investment into the UK and Scotland. And it's important to remember that, as I mentioned, although energy efficiency is devolved, and I think we've heard here today some of the examples of best practice, both in England but also in Scotland as well, energy is still a reserve matter. And that's why I think, again, having a joined-up strategy that crosses across the United Kingdom is so important to make sure we can pool our resources where we have large energy assets such as nuclear, such as when we've got wind, some of the world-leading wind farms that are getting out in the North East Sea as well, and also oil and gas. We can pool our resources, but also we can leverage some of the research and the innovation that the UK is so famous for to promote micro energy and efficiency and energy generation schemes, and also decentralised projects across the United Kingdom. So the Clean Energy Strategy does seek to promote this, and it is a UK-wide strategy which I very much very much welcome. I'd like to see the Minister comment on how the Clean Growth Strategy can deliver commercial-scale carbon capture to Scotland and obviously to parts of England as well, before the oil and gas infrastructure is decommissioned and before our best offshore engineers move abroad to work in other markets. And if she'd be willing to meet me and Scottish Conservative colleagues to discuss this matter further. As was mentioned by my honourable friend for Wales, there are a number of different energy measures that we should be looking at, and as a strategy, it's right that we look both at the top level, but also at the micro level as well. And I won't repeat some of the points so articulately put by my honourable friend, the member for Wales, when talking about decentralised energy schemes, but also micro energy schemes. I would just put on some of the geothermal schemes as well, where certainly in my constituency, in one area, Clackmannanshire, we've been looking at former mines, and whether it's possible to actually use them as a source of geothermal heat. I will certainly give way. Yeah.
First of all, it'd be a pleasure to meet with anybody. As everyone knows, my doors are open. Secondly, and the Honourable Gentleman and I for Southampton Test have had this conversation only this week. So this whole geothermal mine water thing has just sort of, I suspect many people know about this. I'm really interested in this technology. And so, if there are groups out there who are interested in promoting this and suggesting what can be done in a cost-effective way, let's bring it on. Let's look at what we've actually done. We've already dug the holes and see if we can't get some more benefit for those communities.
Mr. Graham.
I thank the Minister for her intervention. And, fortuitously, Clackmannanshire is up for a city deal at the moment. So there would never be a better time for the Minister to come involved and get involved in these energy projects. So I thank the Minister for that, and I will definitely be following up as soon as we leave this hall. Scotland, yes, I'll give way.
Seeing as how we're all getting on this afternoon, I thought I ought to just briefly invite the honourable member to come and see me in Southampton to look at Southampton's geothermal energy scheme, which has been going since 1984. Unfortunately, it's still the only one in the country, but I trust that with the Minister's good offices, the geothermal schemes that the honourable member has mentioned could shortly get underway to join Southampton in its geothermal pioneering position. I really do commend what the honourable member is thinking about concerning geothermal. And I think there's a lot of development possible as far as geothermal is concerned, both in terms of mines and in terms of aquifers. And I hope the honourable member will continue on his path of supporting it.
Mr. Graham.
I thank the honourable gentleman for his intervention and will gladly take up his invitation. Scotland... yeah, I'll give way.
Given the new Thornton campus in Cheshire, which is specialising in geothermal, on the way to Southampton from Scotland, can I suggest my honourable friend calls in and sees some of the leading research that is being done at the University of Chester on the opportunities for geothermal and how we can roll that out much further across the country.
I thank my honourable friend for... yes. Thank you for my honourable friend for a kind intervention and, again, invitation. And certainly I'd be very keen to visit both as constituency arrangements allow. Scotland has been at the forefront of every major industrial development in the United Kingdom, from the Industrial Revolution in the 18th and 19th centuries to oil and gas in the 20th and 21st centuries. Because of that, it has undoubtedly contributed to the UK's emissions over the years, but it has fantastic potential through infrastructure and existing expertise to be the leader on the clean growth strategy in the UK and to drive the UK as a global leader in economic growth through emissions reductions. And I would urge the Minister to put the entire UK at the centre of the government's clean growth strategy in the coming months and years ahead.
Yeah.